AEW Dynamite opened up with a backstage segment with Renee interviewing Jay White and Orange Cassidy. Pretty much, they were talking about World's End and their tag team match against the Death Riders in the main event. And Jay White was saying that, hey, we don't need what is his name? We don't need Adam Page. We could care less about him. And it was so weird because he was talking and then he was walking, like pacing back and forth, and it was just so weird. And then eventually, Adam Page, he comes out of nowhere, and Jay White walks off. It was an awkward segment, I will say that. So it gets a thumbs down for me. And then the TBS Championship match, the CEO, Mercedes Moné versus Anna Jay. You know what? This match was all right. Overall, it wasn't a bad match. It was, of course, it wasn't the greatest. Anna Jay, she looked actually good in the match, but Mercedes Moné, she won the match, and that's it. I just wonder what are they going to do next with Mercedes. I would like to see Chris Statlander win that championship, and then also, yeah, Chris Statlander. I think she was backstage, watching the match. So they need to have Mercedes or have Chris Statlander destroy Miss Mercedes Moné, Miss CEO. And then there was some kind of backstage segment or some I think it was a video of the of FTR. They were talking about something being at home, and I don't even remember what they were talking about. That's horrible. And then MJF came out. This was actually one of the best things about AEW Dynamite, and he was making fun of Adam Cole and saying, "Hey, I don't need to fight this, skinny yellow guy." And they had a picture of of Adam Cole, Photoshop picture of him. So I thought that was funny. And then Adam Page came on the screen and he was saying, hey, pretty much the MJF, I'm going to kick your butt at World's End and there's not a thing that you can do about it. And then Adam Cole, he jumps in the ring and he attacks MJF. And MJF, eventually, he was able to get away from Adam Cole. So I actually thought that segment was really good. And MJF, he's great on a mic. So I'm happy to actually see him back on AEW instead of just being on a screen, and giving a 2-minute promo and whatever, or being in a mansion. So it's good that he's back on AEW Dynamite. And then Jamie Hayter, she had a backstage segment. She was talking about Julia Hart, about what she's going to do to her. I actually thought, even though the segment or the promo was short, I thought it was really good. And then there was some video package of Kenny Omega. He's going to be making his return. And then we had Christian Cage and Nick Wayne versus Hook and Shibata. You know what? I wasn't crazy about this match. There was just a lot that was going on. And Nick Wayne and Christian Cage, they beat Hook and Shibata. Nick Wayne actually got the pin, so that was like and you got that Chris Jericho. He was promoting I think their next pay-per-view or whatever, or what is it, All In. He was promoting that, and then there was a segment with I'm trying to think. There was a segment with Toni Storm, and she was talking about I forget who was she was being interviewed, and the interviewer asked her about hey, how do you feel about Mariah May? How do you feel about being back in AEW? And she's like, it feels great to finally get an opportunity to to live my dream. So it's so ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with Toni Storm. It's like, okay, I know, okay, I can see if they wanted to forget about timeless Toni Storm and have her just focus on getting her title back and wanting to go after Mariah May. But apparently Toni Storm was in some kind of coma, and she doesn't remember anything. So I don't know what's going on with that. She'll be, we shall see how things turn out with that. And then Ricochet, he came out to the ring and he was being interviewed by Tony Schiavone. It wasn't really an interview. I think Tony Schiavone said like a couple words to him, and Ricochet was talking, and then the Hurt Syndicate, they came out, and Ricochet in this video, in this whatever this segment or promo, whatever you want to call it, Ricochet was trying to, I guess they're turning, Ricochet is, he's on the, he's on the dark side now. He's a villain or whatever. It seems like, he's turning into, a bad guy. And it was kind of funny because MVP was right next to him, and Ricochet, he just seemed like, I know that, whatever, they're trying to change his character or whatever, but he's like, oh, I'm trying to be down with the cool guys. Hey, you guys are my homie and all that. It was just so, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And it made Ricochet look silly and just kind of ridiculous. I was like, I'm not really feeling this. And then they MVP took Ricochet's card, the Hurt Syndicate's card, and ripped it up. And they were saying, we don't like people, who kiss up and, kiss butt. We don't need that kind of nonsense. And then the way that Ricochet got out of the ring, it was like, man, he just looks like, I don't know, like a punk. I'm just like, I don't know. And then I think someone came out. I'm trying to think who came out. And someone, I think it was, goodness, was it Mark? Yeah, it was Mark Briscoe, and someone else who came out to the ring, and the Hurt Syndicate just attacked them. And then we had the match. This was actually a really good match, the Continental Classic, Shelton Benjamin versus the Beast Mortos. And Shelton Benjamin, the guy looks like $1 million. Shelton Benjamin won the match, and it was actually a really good match. Shelton Benjamin is just, I don't know. I think right now he might actually be the best in-ring worker. Definitely in the top 5 in AEW. But the guy can go. You know what? I'm going to say he's the best in-ring worker in AEW. I also like FTR. I think they're great in the ring. But Shelton Benjamin is just, it's nice to see him shine in AEW, and I hope that, I know that they got this tournament. I'm not really crazy about this Continental Classic and whatever, but I hope it doesn't make Shelton look weak. I mean, he already lost 2 matches, and I feel like at this time, AEW, they need to push people. And then I guess I had things reversed. The Tony Storm segment was actually after this with RJ City, but whatever, I already, talked about that. And then not the main event. This should have been the main event. It was Will Ospreay versus Darby Allin. This was, even though they did a bunch of moves they didn't sell at times, it was a good match. It was a really good match. It was entertaining. Some of it didn't make any sense because there was one point where Darby Allin was going for the coffin drop on the ring apron, and what's his name? Will Ospreay got out of the way, and Darby Allin, it seemed like he hit the corner of the ring. So I'm like, golly, that looked just, yeah. Darby Allin, the guy's really going to hurt himself. I don't know. Will he be able to walk in the next 5 years? I don't know, man, at this point. And then pretty much the end of this match, which I'm kind of surprised, Will Ospreay, he hit Darby Allin with AJ Styles move, and what is the name of the move? He hit him with AJ Styles move. Can't think of the name of it. From the ring apron to the outside of the ring, and Darby, Will Ospreay got back in the ring, and Darby Allin, he beat the 10 count, and I'm thinking like, okay, because of that finish, him hitting the I believe it's the Styles Clash to what's his name, Darby Allin, from the ring apron to the outside of the ring, that's a brutal spot. Will Ospreay should have just, once Orange Cassidy got in the ring, or not Orange Cassidy, but Darby Allin, Will Ospreay should have won the match. To me, that was just kind of weird, and Darby Allin came back. He was able to hit the coffin drop. I believe he hit it twice, and he beat Will Ospreay for the to win the match. So I thought that was just kind of weird. That finish. It's like sometimes with AEW, some of their finishes, it doesn't make any sense. How do you hit a devastating move on someone and then that opponent beats the 10 count and then eventually is able to take you out and he's back up within whatever a minute or two? It's just kind of yeah, doesn't make any sense to me. And then we had the main event, and I feel like this match wasn't even needed. It just, I don't know, Darby Allin versus Will Ospreay, that should have been the main event. So it was the trios match, the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, Pac and Wheeler Yuta versus Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Adam Page. Pretty much this match, there's just so much going on. I'm not really crazy about any of these guys. I like, I like Pac, but they're not really doing anything with him. You get the usual Jon Moxley doing his stuff and whatever he's doing in the ring, and pretty much and then there was the tension, with what was it? With Adam Page, with his team, Adam Page, Orange Cassidy, and Jay White, and Adam Page, he left because he was upset. And then eventually Moxley, he pinned Orange Cassidy to still, to win the match. So it was just like, and it was so funny because Jon Moxley rolled up Orange Cassidy for the win. I mean, for the pin, and Jay White and Adam Page were in the ring. They were only, whatever, maybe a few feet away from Jon Moxley when he pinned, Orange Cassidy, and they didn't even break it up. It was like, okay, it's right, I know that they have this whatever rivalry going on, and they don't like each other, but it was just kind of ridiculous to me. It just didn't make any sense. So I don't know. I'm like over this whole Death Rider storyline. At first I was intrigued by it, but now I'm like, I don't get it because it's not making any sense. And Jon Moxley, whenever he's talking about stuff, it's just so convoluted. And he doesn't things are going to come and I'm doing this for the greater good. I'm trying to show you guys what needs to be done in AEW. It's for your own good. You don't understand. I'm telling you. It's just so weird. And then also with this, they're going to have the Fatal 4-Way at World's End. Orange Cassidy, Moxley, Adam Page, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. Why is this guy even in the main event at this point? Like, I don't know why they're pushing him. And I know some people like him. He has his fans. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But the guy, he's not over. He's really not. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. I know that this pay-per-view is going to be on December 28th. I believe, is it December? Yeah, I think World's End is on December 28th. I just hope after this that AEW will have like a hard reset and just move things in the right direction. And then actually this show was actually they're up, with their ratings, their viewership or whatever. I believe this, I think I saw it was like maybe a 620 or 625,000, and this is the highest, or this is the most viewed AEW show since November 20th. I read that a few minutes ago. So yeah, so please let me know, how did you feel about the show? I know I'm just rambling about about this show. Please take care, happy holidays, and have a good one.